What's up, everybody? Welcome to TPI, the Total Podcast Idiots Show, where we cover everything and anything related to Hardwood, the greatest game ever created. I'm idiot number one, Robert, on this fine Sunday afternoon, repping my Santa Clara Broncos. And that's idiot number two, Andrew, over there. Andrew, how are you doing on this fine Sunday?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I've just been doing a lot of reflecting, basically, and part of it was this show, and maybe I should have done this like last week when we came back actually. But I just wanted to say thanks to you, for agreeing to do this with me first off.
It's kind of an insane
um,
venture, yes.
yeah. And but also, of course, thank you to all of our viewers, for the level of engagement that they've participated in, comments and likes and just discussing everything that we've discussed with their own input, which has been awesome to read. Our goal, I'd say, was to help create a community that's really positive and welcoming. And every one of our viewers has really helped with that. So thank you. Yeah. I've seen a lot more like new Discord users joining, which has been good. A lot more like fun PRs. We'll go over some, I think, today.
I absolutely love the incredible PRs.
The one with all the emojis. I was like, I didn't even know you could put emojis
I,
in
I
there.
didn't either, yeah, to be honest.
And then, obviously the discussion in the Discord and the forums, a lot of people offering lots of help for the new presidents, and especially celebrating everyone's successes, which has been really cool, right?
Yeah, I think it's really cool because like when we started this, we first of all didn't think anybody was going to care to listen. Like to be honest, we didn't think anybody was going to care to listen, but we also kind of just did it for fun because we were like doing podcast level talking about the game with each other all the time. So we were like, maybe we should just record this and put our thoughts on it. But like I said, we didn't really think anybody was going to care that much about it or engage that much with it. But like everybody's been so welcoming to it that we were like blown away.
Yeah.
And like Andrew said, just so thankful for everybody that's watched and liked and subscribed. We have like almost 70 subscribers now, and we're pretty
Yeah.
consistently hitting like 100 views on our videos.
Yeah.
When we first started uploading, we were like, yeah, 50 would be cool.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
our first
definitely.
video got over 500, and we were like, what?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that was wild.
yeah, but
Obviously, thank you to Steve too, right? I mean, we got to thank the man there.
yeah, like obviously, thank you to Steve for number one allowing us to do it in the first place, but number two, doing everything he can to help promote us. And he's a pretty avid listener. He comments on a lot of the pods in the forum for the podcast thread, and he's always got good stuff to say. So we appreciate Steve.
Especially saying, I could win the game, but then that wouldn't be cool, right?
That was a classic power move. Like, as the creator of the game, I could win all the time, but let me just recruit 2 stars and then stay in LL2 here anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Power move there, yeah.
Power moves only for Steve. But yeah, Steve's the man.
For sure. So yeah, today, we wanted to talk about a lot of teams that are getting off to like really hot starts. I think we kind of did this last season. So I think it's a good topic, easy topic to do. And it makes sense, right after non-con finished. So, we kind of have an idea of where some teams are at least, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously non-con's like not like the end all be all in terms of predicting who's gonna be in the top three in the conference and stuff. But usually outside of a couple different scenarios, it's a pretty good predictor of like how well a team's gonna do for that season. Like, if a team comes out 10-0 and they have a relatively decent strength of schedule, you're like, this team could be onto something. Versus a team that goes like 2-8 versus a weak schedule. So
They might be looking towards next season.
yeah, they're already looking towards next season, and if they're not, they need to question their president abilities.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but there's also, it's only been 10 games. There's also a lot of time and a lot of games for like things to really shuffle around. So it's certainly not like you said, it's not the end all be all, at this point. But we definitely wanted to talk about some teams that look pretty good in our opinion, right?
Yeah, so just to touch back on that previous point, there's going to be injuries, number one, but also a lot of teams who are workshopping lineups, because non-con is less important than your conference success is to a lot of these presidents. So a lot of workshopping of lineups and stuff. And, so a team that maybe won their like last 3 or 4 or something like that going into the conference play might be really hot and somebody we don't highlight today, but then next week, all of a sudden we're like, crap, they're on a 7-game winning streak or something like that. So,
Yeah, totally. Good point. Yeah, we couldn't like review every single team like that deeply
no,
to check all that. Yeah.
we
And
reviewed
know
every
every
single
trend.
conference at one point and we almost wanted to blow our heads off. That was the worst day of all time.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna do that again.
I think we are. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
All right, let's get into our first team. Who do you want to highlight here?
Yeah, so let's just jump in. We'll start with D1 as we usually do to satisfy the most loyal of listeners here. With D1, one of the first teams that I want to highlight. Well, sure. First, why don't we announce the fact that there's still 13 undefeated teams in D1?
Oh
Right?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's talk about the teams that are undefeated here. And do you want to share a screen and pull it up, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I can do it. Here we are. That should be good.
Yeah, so 13th team still undefeated in D1, which is like almost double the amount of D2 and a lot more than D3. So we'll just name them in quick succession, and then we're going to talk about a few of them maybe. So Butler, no surprise, 11-0. Georgia Tech, 11-0. LSU, Wisconsin Lutheran, Gardner Webb, Grand Valley State, Indiana State, Michigan Tech, Jacksonville State, and Oregon State, Marist. So all 100 in the top RPI, even though they're undefeated. Georgian Court and Washburn. So Washburn's down at 148 in RPI at 11-0. And you can see their strength of schedule is like 395. So pretty weak non-con.
Yeah.
But still to stack like 10 non-con wins and then your first conference win, you're still pretty happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I mean, I think the interesting thing to note, other than like the success that they've had, is that none of them rank in the top 15 in RPI.
Yeah.
Obviously Butler's like right on the cusp, so they're close. But like you can also see that the non-con schedules, the strength of schedules here, just not that strong. Like from what we have seen before, I'd say like strength of schedules for Division 1, like you want to be at least 550, and then you can kind of say like, yeah, I'm pretty good. But you can see these teams down here that are like 2, 3, 4, top 5 in RPI, right? They have, here's a 559, and that's the weakest of these 3 here, at least. I mean, obviously there's some weaker down here.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's just a reflection of like what we've talked about before, where it's like, RPI is like wins are great, but your RPI is super important if you're like careful about tourney considerations and whatnot. And strength of schedule is just a huge factor into RPI, right? I mean, it's no more abundant than, especially when there's a small sample size like this, only 11 games in. Those disparities are really going to show.
Yeah. I mean, but Washburn and Butler especially, their RPIs are going to go up simply because they're in Legends or just constantly playing these top teams, Evansville here, Mississippi, Ursinus. I know UCLA is still in there. Simpson. Yeah. So, their RPI will definitely go up. But also they're probably not likely to stay undefeated playing in that tough of conference.
Yeah, not likely at all.
So, but yeah, this will definitely change. But yeah, we just wanted to give props to, those teams who have managed to be their records to be unblemished this far.
Yeah, for sure. So the first team that I want to highlight that we're sort of, looking at that's sort of had a nice hot start or some good quality wins is Black Hills State. They are currently 34th in RPI.
Yeah, I have it sorted differently.
Oh,
so
yeah.
But Black Hills State, yeah.
The Black Hills State Yellow Jackets from Spearfish, South Dakota. That's pretty cool, right? Yeah. President Cool Spot 23. So shout outs to him. But like I said, they're currently 34th in RPI. They're like 7-4 overall, but they have a 611 RPI and a 629 strength of schedule, right? So we were talking about strength of schedule being a super important determinant of RPI. And like, this is an example of a team who already has 4 losses, but because it's such a tough strength of schedule, the RPI is boosted as such. Now, I wanted to highlight their hot start because they have a TPI that's only 128.1, right? And if you sort of look at their peers around them in that certain RPI bracket and whatnot, they stand out. They stand out for the most part. A lot of 140, mid
Mhm.
140s to mid 150s there.
Mhm.
Yeah, so like I just want to highlight a team that gets off to a nice start against a tough schedule with a bit lower of a TPI. They kind of have a particular situation with their scoring. If you want to head over to their stats real quick.
Sure.
So they have one player that averages double digits in Guthrie, but he's averaging 20.7 points per game. And then nobody else on the squad averages double digits. So you can tell that man's taking 14.2 shots per game. So you can tell where the ball's going, right? You can tell who's taking the majority of the shots, who's the person that's carrying it there. He already has 8 player of the games.
Oh my gosh, yeah, wow.
Yeah. 8 and 11 is a pretty good rate, I would say.
Yeah, and that and in a loss too, because this team is 7-4.
Yeah,
That's assuming that he got the player of the game in all of the wins as well.
right. Yeah. Well, there's no other player of the games on his team, so safe
Well,
assumption.
no, but no.
Like if the opponent
If the
got one,
other
yeah,
team,
yeah.
yeah, could have gotten it then.
Gotcha. Fair point. Fair point. Yeah. So
But no,
obviously,
I think you had a good point too. Yeah.
yeah. So obviously a big man, right? 21 points a game, almost like a fraction away from 10 points a game.
Mhm.
Big men
10
dominate in this game,
rebounds.
or 10 rebounds. Yeah, sorry. Big men dominate in this game. So, he's averaging a block a game. His opponent field goal percentage numbers aren't the greatest, but wow, look
Yeah.
at those average distances for their top 4 scorers.
Yeah, really low.
Yeah, really low. This is like a
But
pound the paint type of team, huh?
yeah, but they don't have a high number, but they have like a big advantage at least.
Yeah. Interesting
They've been
because,
outscored, yeah.
right. So they don't have a high number, 36
Slow.
points in the paint per game, but they're only averaging 8 threes a game.
Yeah, yeah. That's weird. Yeah. So is it just like all mid-range?
I guess. I mean,
Yeah, I
this
guess.
strikes me as a very slow paced, like use all 30 seconds of the half court offense kind of team. Um,
Yeah.
limited amount of possessions per game kind of situation.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it. I mean, less than 50 shots a game
Yeah,
is not a lot. Yeah.
yeah.
Feed the big guy, Guthrie.
Feed
Feed
him.
him.
Gary Guthrie.
41-inch vertical.
Oh, 41-inch
He'd be
vertical.
flying.
Yeah. So, wow, he's only
Okay.
136. Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, Black Hill State's the first one I want to highlight. Who do you want to highlight?
Yeah, let me take a look at my notes. And I needed to switch screens too.
I can pull it up.
No, I got it.
Oh.
All right. I wanted to talk about, I mean, obviously, like, all of our eyes are on these, top teams up here, but, and, I think I wanted to highlight an undefeated team that, like, maybe doesn't look that good when we're looking at RPI, but, last season, Azusa Pacific, they were undefeated through this point of the season, of course. And then they had a high TPI, but they didn't play a very strong schedule. So their RPI ranking was really low, right? And we all know what they went on to do. They won a national championship and won a dominating run. So, are any teams here catching your eye in terms of having a high RPI?
Having a high RPI
Or a
relative.
high TPI, sorry, high TPI relative to where their RPI ranking is.
Yeah, I mean, so obviously Oregon State, right? I think that's the team that you want to highlight.
Yeah, Oregon State is the one I'm going with. So yeah, President Diego Damers, Corvallis, Oregon. I've been there once. I've visited.
I have been there as well. Yes. Very gloomy.
Yeah. They have a 570 RPI, which is like not bad, but obviously, they're only 99th. 427 strength of schedule, pretty weak, definitely.
Yeah.
But that 154 TPI, that puts them in the top 10 in TPI out of all of Division One, which is, it's not as strong of an advantage as APU, Azusa Pacific had last season, where they were like one of 2 teams above 155 or something. It's definitely more bunched up here, but like it's kind of a similar story. So I wanted to mention that. And so, looking at their, way of scoring, wow, I didn't really look at this beforehand. 103 points per game. That's insane. Holy moly.
They're running their opponents off the floor.
Holy
103 to
crap.
67.
Yeah, I mean, they shoot really well from three, shooting 39%, but they don't take that many threes relative to like the other, where else they shoot on the floor. They get 43 points per game in the paint, but also 16 fast break points. Wow. Yeah, wow. 12 threes a game, just under 10 turnovers. I mean, maybe this team is just like, you can see that strength of schedule. Maybe they're just beating up on some less talented teams, and that's where some of these numbers are inflated. But like, these are still impressive no matter how you break them down, right?
Yeah, I mean, and Doty, their leading scorer, shooting 8.8 3-point attempts per game and still hitting 41%. So like,
Mhm.
that shooting is going to translate. Obviously, he'll face better perimeter defenders and whatnot, but that sort of shooting is going to translate regardless of like, you know, how good the other team is at defense. You're still going to have good shooters who are going to shoot. So
Yeah. So
yeah,
yeah, I mean, you can see it, like it's four guys, but then it's like really two guys up here who are doing a lot of the work. It's an outside inside like kind of attack. McGuire looks like he's a big man, definitely, with 12 and a half rebounds a game.
oof.
Um, yeah. Well, when your pace is that high, the total numbers can be inflated though too,
Well,
right?
they're taking 67 shots a game, so like there's bound to be
Mhm.
more rebound opportunities.
Yeah, yeah. Although look at these plus minuses. Oh my gosh.
This is why we do this
Wow.
show. We love to find out stuff like this.
I mean, yeah. I've never seen numbers like this, basically. That's crazy. All right. But yeah, we're not gonna go too deep. I think today we're trying to hit a lot of teams and not wear ourselves out. So yeah,
Yeah.
let's move on to your next team.
I think so. My next team is going to be Harvard
Harvard. Where are they
University.
at?
They
46th
are,
here, huh?
yes, 46 in RPI.
Okay.
So Harvard's president is Dr. J. If it's the real Dr. J, please stand up
Oh
and
my
email
God.
us
Oh, that would be amazing.
because I desperately want to Zoom with you. But yeah,
Yeah.
so Harvard with President Dr. J, like you said, they're 46 in RPI. They're off to a 10-1 start. A 604 RPI, but they have a pretty not too great strength of schedule at 492.
Mhm.
TPI of 134.9, which is a little bit lower relative to D1, but they're in, what is that,
Yeah.
league level 4? So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so for league level 4, that's a little bit more forgiving. But I mean, they're what, 40, they're still top 50 RPI. And so as
Which
far
is
as their,
good. Yeah.
yeah, that's good.
That's where you
Yeah.
want to
As
be.
far as their scoring goes, they have 4 that they get into double digits, right? And then that 5th right there, Watson, is at 9.8. So they're almost having 5 players sitting in double digits. And Watson comes off the bench. He's not even a starter. So he's averaging 9.8 in 18 minutes per game. So,
Yeah. Good
that's a
rate.
really good bench piece. That's a really good rate.
Hmm.
So it's a pretty well balanced team. Though, Gross is the other starter that's sitting at 7.1 points per game, but you can see he's almost at 11 boards. So, I mean, it feels like this team is really well rounded out. They have depth at multiple positions, and they could be poised for like a nice run in LL4 in their conference.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they look pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to pick them apart really. I mean, we're not going to go into their rosters to look at like where the weaknesses are. I figure, their conference mates can do all that.
Yeah, we're not gonna do your work for you unless you pay
maybe
us.
maybe later on,
Just
once
kidding.
we we'll look more deeply at rosters throughout the season, I'm sure, but today we're just trying to hit a lot of teams, I think.
Once the conferences start to shake out a bit, and then you have some really standout teams after conference play, that's when we like to break it down and realize why they're so successful.
Yeah, because otherwise, I mean, that's a lot of teams.
Yeah, it's too much. Yeah, there's too many really really damn good teams right now.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a compliment. You all are too good.
Yes, exactly.
All right. My next team, is it also it's kind of similar story as Oregon State, a low RPI team who's off to a good win-loss start, and has a high TPI. Um, but I also want to mention, like, we'll get to all these teams up here, I'm sure, if they stay up here. So, we're just hitting some of these lower ranked teams today. That's all. But the team I'm going to talk about is way down here, 131, West Virginia. Way down. I mean, I didn't think we would be going down here. Did you?
Good old Andrew loves his Cinderellas. Andrew was
Yeah.
like, pick teams that are off to hot starts. And then by hot starts, the qualifier should be like top 15. And then I was like, oh, who'd you choose? He's like, oh, West Virginia. I was like, they're not top 15. And then I looked, they're 131. He's like, oh, yeah.
Oops. But I mean, when you sort by TPI, they're the second highest team.
Yeah.
Behind Jacksonville. Maybe we should talk about Jacksonville too. But West Virginia, that's really good. And I know they're an LL too, so like they're gonna have some tough competition. Their RPI will raise. Jacksonville being an LL4, it'll raise, but like not as drastically as West Virginia's.
Right.
I know West Virginia just looks really tough. I know in the Discord some teams were discussing, how to approach game planning for them. And I guess they lost. They were undefeated before today, so they lost today. Oh, maybe this is a bad choice.
Oof.
But President Staff, so close to Shaft.
Yeah.
We've heard of West Virginia in real life, of course. I remember the Kevin Pitsnoggle days.
I knew you were going to bring up Pitsnoggle.
Do they have a Pitsnoggle on this team? They have two guys who take 7.4 threes a game. That's pretty interesting.
Wow.
One of them, 27.5 points a game for Burrell. That's a lot.
That is a ton.
He's the point guard. So I know this guy, Burrell's been the talk, of that chat and Discord of like how to game plan for him. I'm sure those presidents that we're talking about it can figure it out. So, they're probably better at than me. Dove at shooting guard. He's another big time shooter though. Up here. And then, Duff, I think he must be a forward of some type. Yeah, power forward. Franco at small forward here. Those are the two, secondary scorers. And then Guajardo, obviously it must be the center. I guess he's just in there for like kind of filling up space because he doesn't like get that many rebounds. Duff is the big rebound guy, it looks like. It looks like they're really good at defense though. 39% from the field for their opponents is really good.
Yeah.
This looks like a pretty balanced team in terms of like where they shoot from. That 1/3 of their total field goals is a 3-point attempt. That like proportion that we look for. I look for at least 52% from the field is good. Wow, they're really efficient offense. 1.1 points per possession is
pretty good.
High.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing a fast break with Dove and Duff, and it's like Dove to Duff, back to Duff, all you for Duff. Like I can't help myself.
That's a nice connection there. So like this looks like a tough team to beat. We'll see what happens. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I have a feeling at some point we'll be talking about them again.
Yeah. All right. Sure. So is that it for D1?
That's it for D1. Don't be sad. We're going to highlight your teams later on.
Yeah, like we said, there's just a lot of good teams right now. It's really tough to sort out, and just as time goes on, we'll figure it out, and then we'll talk about your teams. Just keep winning. That's all.
That, and we cannot continuously do 2-hour podcasts.
Well, we have, but
we say that, and then we go to. We say that we can't, and then we end up going 2 hours. But whatever, it's fine.
We prefer to cut it down. I think
we would prefer to. Yes.
All right. So let's go on to D2 though.
Sure. Yeah, D2, my favorite division in the entire land.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because that's where I'm at. All right. So yeah, how many undefeated teams do we have in D2, Andrew?
I think there are 6 undefeated teams still left. Which, hey, that's pretty good. Pretty good.
but less than half of the amount of undefeated teams left in D1.
That is correct. Yeah.
Which is understandable for sure.
Here's an interesting thing. We just talked about D1, no undefeated team being in the top 15, but for D2, the top team in RPI here is undefeated.
Yeah.
So like, finally, it all makes sense. It lines up.
It adds up.
So, Colorado State, we got to talk about them a little bit at least. Yeah, top TPI or top RPI by a lot. Wow, I've never seen a gap. Oh, well, this is not to the number 2 team. Sorry.
Yeah. It's
still
a
I've never seen a gap
yeah.
that big. Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So Colorado State obviously is killing it so far.
Yeah. Props to them. I think their president is not super active. He registered on Valentine's Day and then logged in the day after. And that might have honestly just been like at midnight the next day, like that same night.
We hate to see it.
We hate to see it. When you have a team that good, man, sheesh, just throw it away. I'd say they're pretty balanced though. No one over 20 points a game, but this guy's short. He's their top guy. He looks like a big man because he has not taken a 3 all season.
1.33 points per game.
Wow.
Or points per possession.
Points per possession. Yeah, that's really good. That's like really good. Wow.
Yeah. Usually anything over like
Impressive.
1.2 for me is like really good, and then over 1.3 is like exceptional.
Dude, when a guy is over 1.00 for me, I'm like, good job. If they're like above 0.9, I'm like, yes, you can get minutes for me.
Now that I'm looking at my own players, it's pretty sad season.
Yeah, I mean, I've had guys in like under 0.7 starting because they do other things. They do, that's what I tell them at least.
The glue guys, the junkyard dogs.
Glue guys, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Richard looks like one of the more perimeter threats for this team. James too is point guard here. Richard is like the small forward backup point guard. Nielsen, I guess. I'm learning about these teams along with everyone else. So yeah, no, they look like a solid team. Maybe if I see them in the national tournament, I'll now have an advantage.
You'll break them down.
Yeah, I'll break them down. But their RPI 540 or their strength of schedule, sorry, is 545, which is like decent, right? It's better than mine.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So I don't know. That's a really good start, and that's the whole point of today's episode.
Yeah, for sure.
Who
another team that we will likely be visiting again later in the season. So hopefully either Trevor logs in or someone takes them, because we don't want to highlight bot teams.
Yeah, no more bats.
If they're like 30-0, no bats. Bats are bad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, who do you got?
The first D2 team I want to highlight is Wisconsin Green Bay, who's currently sitting at 59th in RPI.
Okay. Oh, I got
outside of the top 50.
Entire ranking for that.
That's I realize okay. It's not sexy.
99 and I picked 99 and 131.
You did, yeah. Quite the contrarian. So Wisconsin Green Bay. First of all, the president his name is Retry, and I'm sure I'm pretty sure he's a pretty loyal. Yeah, he's been playing since like 2018. So somebody who, obviously we love the dedicated presidents who've been around for a long time. So shout out Retry.
I wonder if they tried to like make another, like a first one, and then they have to make this one because it's a retry.
They signed up for the wrong team.
One that's like, yeah.
They signed up for Wisconsin Milwaukee. They wanted Wisconsin Green Bay.
But then this is the one that like stuck, and then they're like, oh crap, it's not my main one.
I hope so.
All right, yeah. So talk to me about the Phoenix of Wisconsin Green Bay.
Phoenix. So yeah, like we said, they're 59th in RPI, off to a 10-1 start. So they have like a 549 RPI, but only a 439 strength of schedule. So that's sort of common with teams that are going to be lower in RPI. Obviously, they're going to have weaker strength of schedule. They're a 142.7 TPI team. So, that's pretty good for D2. That's going to usually it's going to usually carry you a long way. I mean, I would argue
Yeah.
that's even competitive inside of D1. So, you know,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. So 142.7 is going to get it done for them. In terms of scoring, they're really led by one guy, and it's Kelly, as you can see, right? Kelly's
Yeah.
averaging 24.4 points a game. He is not, however, a big man. He is a shooting guard. Now,
Dude, these guys play 30,
I
the
was
top
literally
three
just
play
gonna say,
37. Oh, okay, yeah.
I was literally just
Go
gonna
for it.
say, yeah. So the top three play like they're. I mean, he's playing his guys a shit ton of minutes. To be fair, Brett Kelly has a 16 stamina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
So like, let me take a peek at his game log and just see if he has levels of fatigue. He has not had a fatigue comment or like in the game log pop up all season long yet.
Whoa.
So like, okay,
Wow.
this is a situation where like, if you have really damn good players like this and they're not getting fatigued in 36, 37 minutes, or like even in 32 minutes, maybe you should start pushing it. Like if you're getting 32 minutes of no fatigue, push it up to 34 if he's damn good like this.
Hmm.
If 34 you get no fatigue, push it up to 35. This guy's like pushing the boundary, but it's not hindering him at all.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if there's no sign, like you gotta
You
do
have
it.
to.
And he's this good, yeah.
Like if we look at his drop off between Kelly and his backup, Manuel Reyes, he's a 130
Hmm.
SI, which is still not bad for a backup. But
Hmm.
Kelly's obviously the guy, you know. So I it's obviously
Yeah,
not in many scenarios do
yeah.
you want to play players 37 minutes a game, but I think in this case it's warranted.
Yeah, like it's not my style to do that, but like I've also never had a guy who has, yeah, that type of like everything, like the ability to score that much and play that much
Yeah.
without getting tired. Yeah. So I mean, if you can, I guess, yeah, you push him. That's crazy.
And I think one of the things that often pops up, if you have like a light or medium fatigue comment on a player, one of the things that often pops up is the opponent field goal percentage will slack as a result of it, right?
Hmm.
So like, that's usually for me a pretty decent indicator over like, 5, 6, 7, 10 games or whatever. Hey, this guy's getting a little bit fatigued and struggling on defense. But I mean, his opponent field goal percentage is 35%.
Yeah, right.
So like it's not
Wow.
slipping as a result of that. Like this guy's just really damn good.
Hmm.
What's his points per
Yeah.
possession?
Let's look. 1.15.
Okay.
So
So
like pretty good.
yeah.
Pretty good.
I mean, he's taking
Especially for perimeter
8.7.
guy.
Yeah, he's taking 8.7 threes a game and hitting almost 43%. This guy's a
Hmm.
flat out scorer. Like, let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm interested in like Reed and Pope though too. I mean, both of these guys look like perimeter guys as well, like the point guard and the small forward, I would guess. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Reed
it's
is the
very
small
like
forward,
perimeter
Pope's the point
oriented
guard.
team here.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
have a 6'3" power forward. In
Really.
Holly. Yeah. So that
That's
might be
interesting.
their downfall there in terms of like matchups when it gets a little bit more competitive. But
Hmm.
it doesn't seem like they're playing. How many points, fast break points do they get per game? 10. So they got some sort of
Yeah.
they have some sort of transition there, but I mean only getting 59 field goal attempts per game. That's not really indicative of a team that's running a ton. Um,
Yeah.
so that power forward situation is something to keep an eye on.
Yeah. Interesting. This is yeah, I don't know, I'm learning a lot about like different play styles and roster constructions because for me, I like both of my teams are just like very similarly constructed. I mean, there are some differences, but like in general, I feel they're very similar. So this is like drastically different than anything I would run.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, it's
Yeah,
working for him.
interesting.
He's
Yeah,
plus
for
he's
sure.
plus 248
Definitely.
on the season. So
We'll see when they match up with Dominican in the national tournament too.
you asking for a one-off result again for us?
I mean, that's the thing though. I'm number 8. We're not going to really talk about me, but I can say this like type of stuff though. I feel like because my team is like decent, I can be like, I want to fight. I want to play Colorado State.
I would. Hey, they play directly into my style. Like, let's go.
Mhm.
I'll run up in the floor
Yeah,
with you. You can take on 6'6" Modest Lekis at power forward. Let's do it.
yeah. All right. Should I go next?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I was gonna take a look at number 17, St. Louis here. They're another undefeated team. They're the second highest ranked undefeated team. Um, you know, Colorado State, we see that their TPI is 131. And I'm sure you could see that St. Louis's TPI though is 153.5. So that's the second best. Pretty good gap to number 3, our conference rival Slippery Rock here. And you're right here, looking pretty solid at the top 5 though. And no disrespect to Mississippi State, they look like they're having a really good start to their season as well. Number 4 in RPI, strong strength of schedule. But I just wanted to highlight St. Louis being undefeated. That's crazy. That's really good. I would love to be undefeated right now. Who
Only
knows
one
when
of
I
us.
would be
Only one of
RPI?
us can make those claims.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Where are you at? Oh yeah. Here you are. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, St. Louis, their president is Tort. He's been playing for a good while. And he's still pretty active. Can't log in, hasn't logged in a few days, but it's been almost 2 years. He can take a break, I think.
Yeah.
Anyways, this team is really, really good at defense. 38.3 opponent field goal percentage, allowing just 59 points a game. Under 30% from 3. They get 11 steals a game. Like, I don't know if I've seen a team this good defensively. And especially, again, their RPI wasn't bad. They're 17th in RPI, so they're not playing complete bombs, and racking up these numbers.
Yeah, this team is stout defensively for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they have one starter that struggles a little bit on defense. That's Snyder, who's given up like 48.8% from the opponent field goal percentage. But then they have more than enough capabilities of mitigating that across the board here.
Yeah. So, I mean, that looks like their bread and butter for sure. They have, in terms of offense, they have 2 guys who take a lot of shots from the outside, being Shelton and Patterson. And Sheldon looks like, definitely the more effective guy here. I'm not sure about like these players' builds, like their heights and everything, but these 2 are the main threats I'd say you have to watch out for. But then everybody else is basically like an inside scorer. Chapman, Snyder, the power forward. I assume Chapman is the center. Yeah. I guess Payne is kind of like an outside.
Look at
guy.
Payne's point per possession.
Is it really bad? 0.7.
But he's also averaging 6.6 assists per game. So,
Mm-hmm. So yeah, his job is not to score, certainly, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I would say there's definitely like weaknesses here to pick at, right? You mentioned Snyder, his defense, and then Payne's offense, but every team is going to have weaknesses. So, I would say but there's one thing, Bridger talked about it with us when we talked with him, right? Like, if there's one thing you can rely on a lot, it's defense, and St. Louis has that.
Yeah. It's interesting because, so I clicked Marco Payne's profile. First of all, he's really good. He's 166 SI as a redshirt junior. But
oh my gosh.
Yeah. And he's loaded in terms of like the true point guard skills, ball handling, driving, passing, basketball IQ, and speed and stamina. This guy's a monster. But he's only a 7 on perimeter defense, and yet he's giving up 36.5% opponent field goal percentage.
Yeah, that's interesting. And he's not like super long. I mean, he's 6'4.5", 6'3" in height.
He doesn't have like an incredible vertical or something.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's really interesting. I'd be curious to see like what type of defense St. Louis is running.
Yeah.
If it's a lot of zone or a lot of pressure. This type of build I wouldn't think like succeeds that well, to this extent in like complete man-to-man at least. So that'd be interesting.
It's interesting because their last game against the Campbell Fighting Camels, Payne fouls out, or not, doesn't foul out, but he picks up 4 in 17 minutes. Their backup point guard, Isaiah Smith, plays 26 minutes and picks up player of the game with 9 points and 10 assists.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Interesting.
Okay, hold on. Go to their
Hmm.
schedule and then go to the game against Campbell. Look at the box score. We're gonna find out a lot real fast. Scroll down to where you see
Can't wait.
their efficiencies and defensive tactics.
0. Oh my God, they press a lot. No, no man knows.
I don't think I've ever seen 0-0.
What are the settings for that? Obviously 0 for zone, but like, how can you make 0 man? Is it just 100% pressure?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's not
Oh my.
unique. It's not unique to that game either. In the game before that against Chattanooga, it was 79%. They played 1% zone.
Jesus.
Yeah. So St.
Ah,
Louis is like,
man.
we're better than you. We have more stamina. We're gonna run your ass off the court.
Yeah. Wow. So, okay. St. Louis.
They also
Looks
played
like if
what?
I,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They have 9 straight road games.
wow. Yeah.
It's rough.
Mhm. Well, I guess if I go up against them, I know what I'm game planning for.
Yeah.
All right. Who do you got? Who do you got next?
So for my next D2 team, let's look at South Dakota State, currently sitting at
All right.
25th.
I see them. I see them.
South Dakota State's a team we talked about a little bit, I believe, in the tourney prediction because they were one of the, I believe they just promoted, right, from D3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So that was one of the teams that we talked about in the D3 tournament because they were really good and they should have went a little bit further in the tourney. Remember, they got upset. But they're a pretty good team. So the president is
Yeah, they were a
Gaelic
1
Ale.
seed.
Yeah, they were 1 seed. Yeah, there you go. So Gaelic Ale, he's been there for, as you can see, since the 2012 season. So again, we love to see loyal
Oh, yeah.
presidents.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, wow, that first season was 7-34. So he's really taken a project and built them up. Another thing we love to
Nice.
see. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as we mentioned, they're currently 25th in RPI, 10-1, so they've only lost one game, 588 RPI, a 470 schedule, which is like not good, but it's not terrible. But they have like a 130.5 TPI, so they're pretty talented, I'd say, for D2. South Dakota State, yeah. I want to make sure I was clicking on the right team. Yeah, they're pretty talented for D2, and in terms of like scoring and distribution and stuff like that, they spread the ball a lot. Like if you go to their stats, you'll see it's not really this. I think of this team in terms of scoring as what your like ideal situation would be.
Yeah. This does look like a spread that I would type kind of run. Yeah.
Yeah, so they have 3 players in double digits. You can see Tomlinson's at 16.4, but then they have 1, 2, 3, 4 above 8 points per game, and then another one coming in at 7.7. So that's just a team that they don't have any focal points. Everybody, I mean, obviously Tomlinson's shooting 12 and a half, what is it, 12 and a half shots a game. But besides that, the ball spreads around, right? So that's really tough to
Yeah.
prepare for defensively if you're like if you're trying to match up.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking at Carlson because like this field goal percentage, this amount of points, for this number of field goal attempts, like that would speak to a really efficient scorer. And he's like pretty good, but he's not like crazy good, I
Yeah, it's not like
guess.
exceptional or anything.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's interesting. Okay. What else about them?
Yeah, I mean, so right away off the bat, you can see they're like 36 points per game in the paint, which, is pretty good. That's a fairly good number, but it's not like outstanding or anything like that.
Mhm.
But they get almost 10 offensive rebounds per game. That's
Yeah.
pretty good, 9.8. You can see a couple of their players are averaging over 2 offensive rebounds per game.
Mhm.
So, that's that's good. That's a lot of offensive rebounds. But particularly, I just wanted to point them out because I think this is a team, that's got a relatively good TPI, and majority of their roster is still pretty young players. So
Mhm.
Hubert Tomlinson's a senior, a redshirt senior, but then
Okay.
everybody else that contributes is primarily either, so they have 2 juniors in Nash and Gonzalez, or Nash,
Mhm.
Gonzalez, and Carlson, so 3, and then everybody else is like a sophomore or freshman.
I thought Nash Gonzalez was one person. Like Nash was the first name.
My bad. Kenny Nash, Bernardo Gonzalez, and Dick Carlson are all juniors. But then, you can see they've got some redshirt freshmen, some redshirt sophomores. Also a
Yeah.
situation where this team is like they recruit well because you see it's all 2s and 3 stars. Yet
Hmm.
they've built a roster to a pretty good TPI. So
Yeah.
they're finding
Yeah.
their guys and going after them and getting them. But anytime
Which
you
is
have a
tough in Dakota, right?
yeah,
In the plains.
yeah, and anytime you have a team like this, I always think about like, well, if they accomplish what they want to promote this season, then you have a bunch of young players who are going to get better over the course of the season, and their likelihood of staying up the season after once they reach D1 is still fairly good.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Yeah. They look pretty well set up for the future. Yeah, Carlson definitely looks like he'll be the guy, in the next season, and they can just build around him. And they got a 7-footer down here with Miles Daly, who's probably going to be like the next guy after Carlson.
yeah, in terms of recruiting, just real quick, they're going after a 4-star, so they're putting themselves out there.
Oh boy,
4-star small forward.
feeling frisky.
I know you hate competition like that, but they're on high and another team's on high, so that's for their top 2 recruits.
I mean, it's not like I haven't gotten into fights and
Yeah,
recruiting fights.
of course, yeah.
I would just prefer to avoid it.
But yeah, if they land Fisher, this is a pretty loaded squad, so I could see
Wow,
them.
look, they're high on Terry Porter, the Portland Trailblazers point guard. Former, I mean, now he's a coach somewhere. I don't even know where he's a coach at.
Yeah.
um,
Interestingly enough, Fisher's in the competition battle with Black Hills State.
oh, look at that.
Like I didn't plan that.
Connecting it. Yeah, yeah.
I'm just
Great.
that
That is
good, I
dramatic.
guess. I don't know.
Yeah. No, you are.
But good luck to him. That's a D1 team you're
Yeah.
competing against.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's another reason why I think we do this show. It's so then people like have more sympathy towards us in recruits and like recruiting battles, and then they like don't go after our recruits.
Shit, I wish that was the case.
Oh yeah, you're getting bodied sometimes.
Yeah, people are scooping fast.
I don't know. You got some good guys recently.
I just need Long Beach to know that he's not going to win Bruce Herb because I am putting every point into him of every day. So I'm just putting that warning out there.
Mhm.
Oh, what are you doing,
Hey, yeah.
Basoy? Is this Pacific? Is that medium?
On Bruce
Okay.
Herb,
Yeah, I'm Bruce Herb.
I think they were at medium a little bit
They were
ago.
at low.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Basoy's still
Well,
spending.
then I don't know. I don't know
Basoy,
then.
I got something to tell you. You're going to have a bad time. If he scoops in from me, I'm going to be so pissed. Okay, anyways, moving on.
Oh, yeah. I actually wanted to correct something. I said St. Louis like wasn't playing a bunch of bums, and they aren't playing bums, but like their strength of schedule is definitely not as good as I thought it would be for like being up this high up in RPI. So maybe they're just beating the crap out of teams, I guess, out of these bad teams, which hey, it works, and we'll see how it goes for the rest of the season. I don't know.
Got to win your
But
games.
yeah, I mean that's the most important thing. My next team was a team we talked about last season a few times. I know St. Edwards. Remember President
Joaquin.
Joaquin. So they're off to a really good start. You could see that they're 40th. Apparently, I just love teams that have really bad strength of schedules because this is not great. 429 is not that great. I think the thing I was looking at though when I was checking these teams was obviously their record. I wanted to highlight these undefeated teams, but then I noticed that their TPI is really high. That was the second thing I noticed. So I didn't really look at their strength of schedules. But yeah, St. Edwards, they're a team that has balance with 6 players in double figures. Wrong team. Sorry, I always forget that these things do that. 6 players in double figures. Obviously, Bao is the like top guy at 20.5, which is a lot. Then you'll see 99. He's the point guard.
Yeah.
Okay. 99.6 points per game for them as a team. So like they play very high pace, 67.5 field goal attempts. Yeah, so that's really gonna like boost their scoring numbers, obviously, right?
Yeah. Um, Another interesting thing about them is they are very small.
I think that was the thing we last season too, right?
Yeah, that was the thing we highlighted last season. But it hasn't really changed. So they're starting power forward is Church, and he's 6'4".
Yeah,
Their starting center
6'4",
is
yeah.
Basso, and he's 6'6".
Yeah. I looked at the numbers. Church is interesting. He's averaging like 11 rebounds a game though.
Is he just a
Uh,
monster?
I mean, he's a 14 in rebounding, which is
Yeah,
strong, but it's not like
and a
insane. He doesn't have an incredible vertical, and he's
14 in
not that
strength.
heavy.
Yeah,
14 in strength is good though. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. That's interesting.
He's
Yeah,
never
I want to go against
he's
them.
never had a full season where he's averaged less than 9.2 rebounds per game.
Wow.
So
I mean, he's Basso and even Awano here, who I would assume is the small forward. Yeah.
I want to
They only average 6.5 rebounds a game. So like, in general, especially when you play this many possessions this fast, someone's got to get the rebounds. I guess Church is the main guy.
Church is there to gobble him up.
Yeah, like a hungry hippo. Pretty solid defensively. You see these OFGs for their top four, especially, who again were like all perimeter oriented. So they're a good perimeter defending team, but then like inside, Basso, it looks like he's not that great of a defender here. And not to say like his ID is low. I honestly have no idea, but it's also not, or it's mediocre.
Well, yeah.
But like, so there's a definite weakness to this team though, I'd say. So basically, let me play them in the national tournament.
Careful what you wish for.
Yeah, that's true. So St. Edwards, they have good defense. Like I said, they shoot a lot of threes, but they also like to play in the paint. I'm saying in my notes, I think this is a team that could be a national title contender, national championship contender, though.
If there's ever a season that they were going to do, it's this season, right? Their top three players are graduating this season. This is the run. This is the time.
Yeah. So I just said, give me them in the national tournament, but then I just call them a national title contender. Hey, that means I think I'm a national title contender.
Oh, this guy. All right. Enough of you.
All right, you want to move on?
Yeah, the last thing we want to talk about in D2 is just looking at like the top 10 of RPI. There's a nice little glut of teams that are sitting at 9-2.
Yeah, let me start by record so we can see that a little easier. That's not how you do it. Sorry, hold on.
He's struggling, peeps.
Yeah, it's bad. Okay, yeah, here we go. This 9-2 glut right here. I mean, we can include Lynchburg, I guess, too. They're close. I stopped it at Kansas because Kansas is like the big team.
Why don't we just move down to 28?
Okay, sure.
I'm just
look at that.
Just
not good enough. Yeah, I mean, it's just something to notice. We have 1 here, but then that's a pretty big jump to 17, and then we have you at 23 here, which props to you. Hey, you're undefeated. We'd love to see it. That strength of schedule is not very good though.
It's
not. But then like you see these 10-1 teams, no one in the top 10. I mean, 15 and 16, that's pretty good. But like 4 top 10 teams, 12, 14, and then these 20, these teams in the 20s here. Like I think this is the group you watch out for.
Convenient, that's your group.
Because we are in it.
The Penguins.
So that was just something. Did you want to talk about Colby for a little bit? I mean, they're undefeated. They're having a really good start, right? But their RPI is not super high. I mean, 46 is respectable, certainly, right?
That strength of schedule is trash, 417. Their opponent winning percentage is what, 328?
Oof, yikes.
So they're running through trash, but like I said, you can only win the games that you're scheduled to play. So like
Of
congrats to
course.
Colby. I think the thing we wanted to highlight about Colby is what?
Their PRs.
Their PRs.
Oh, we love it. We love it. What I considered to be good basketball was rejected by many people as lactic and spectacle, but I'm much happier and more likely to win 51 to 50 than to lose 128 to 124.
That, that's beautiful. That's a great
Is,
PR.
is this a person? I've never heard of this person.
I wonder if that's his roster, like a player on his roster. Let me see. I don't think that's his coach,
Okay.
right? No, his coach is DeAndre Puckett.
No, it's not his coach.
No,
I don't think so. Oh, dude,
is that
Geese
it?
Vandermeer. I almost recruited him. This
Is
dude
that
is
his
good.
name? Like
Yeah.
the actual president's name? I'm saying
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Bozidar Malkovich, and then
I
his
thought he
president name
might
is
have been
Green.
his president's name is Green. I thought he might be like a European coach or something.
I mean,
Let's
maybe
let's see.
Serbian former professional basketball coach and current president of the Olympic Committee of Serbia.
Okay, so
Oh,
I
so it's a
think
quote.
that's the
Okay, I
answer
see.
there.
I see. It's a quote. I thought he was quoting like he was making a fake quote in the game.
Yeah, no, I totally thought so too. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well,
Okay, so
I thought he
there's
came
our
up with
answer.
this, so I'm
That's still
less
funny. I
enthused.
still like it. I still like it. I still like it.
I still like it for sure. It's a good quote, but I'm less enthused. Um, yeah,
All right. So yeah, that's D2.
don't ever underestimate the heart of a mule. Go.
Yeah, and to finish off with D2 and PRs, this one by Purdue University Fort Wayne and their new president. I think he's kind of feeling himself a little bit here. Are you jealous? Are you hashtag jealous? Oh, he's feeling saucy.
I
No
mean,
VM or no VM.
he's putting a huge target on his back.
Yeah, with all these emojis. Uh-oh.
So can we also
We
say
love
the
to see
fact
it.
that he signed up February 23rd and it's currently February 28th?
Oh yeah, no, I know.
So
This was that team that was like a one seed in the D3 tournament last season, but it was like bot led, I think.
yeah,
And they were like looking really good, and then they got knocked out like kind of early-ish.
yeah.
I
They're
think
not they're
actually,
not
maybe
that
I'm
good.
completely wrong. Actually, they weren't knocked out that early. They went
Oh no,
to
yeah, Elite
Elite
Eight.
Eight.
But we expected them to be like
But
a championship contender. They went 43-5.
yeah,
They're not
yeah,
that
they're
good
not.
though.
I don't know. I don't think they're that good. Yeah,
I
so
want
we'll
to play
see.
them.
Well, yeah. I mean, maybe you get the chance, right?
Wipe that smirk off their face. Okay.
All right. Should we
Anyways,
move on to D3 now?
yeah, we should move on to D3, which I think
Hey,
is
we're
one of our favorite divisions. I don't care what anybody says.
oh, definitely,
I mean, there's
definitely.
only
Hey,
three,
we're
but
making good time, by the way. I think.
I I don't know, but sure, I'm having fun. Who cares? Um, yeah.
You
So
say that, and then we go 2 hours.
I know, I know. Okay, so I'd rather
Okay.
do that than the work I have to spend all night doing. So D3, there's one undefeated team left. Uno. And it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. I thought you were like counting down like uno, dos, tres, and then we were gonna yell out.
Oh no, sorry. I'm not that cultured. Yeah, so there's only one undefeated team left, and it is Hood. The
Welcome
Hood
to the
Blazers
hood.
from Frederick, Maryland. The Hood Blazers.
Unfortunately, though, they are a bat.
They are a bat. We don't like bats. Their president was just
But
removed too.
their president just he wasn't removed though. He like requested to go to another team because he is currently the president of the Illinois Fighting Illini.
Which, you know what? I understand. That's a fair move to go from the
It's a
Hood
bigger
Blazers
name
to Illinois.
school.
Yeah. And they're
But
D2, right?
but like yeah, they're also D2.
He just
Yeah,
wasn't
I
ready
mean
for the grind.
probably has like more of an attachment to Illinois, so I can understand that. But they left Hood at the top. They had built up Hood and then just said, peace.
Pretty much. Yep. This was the year that Hood was
Wow.
going to excel, and he was like, Hood, I'm good.
Yeah. 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 So I just wanted to, obviously we have to mention them if they're undefeated and the only undefeated team, but yeah, we won't go too in depth here.
That just shows you the parity of D3. There's one undefeated team. There's 13
Hmm.
for D1. So D1's fun.
Yeah.
Or D3's fun, I mean.
Yeah, totally. Unfortunately though, like out of the top 10, like 6 of them are bots, and then like 2 more are led by presidents that have logged in like one day. So we're not going to talk a
Boo.
lot about them
No.
at all.
The very last thing, in case you didn't notice, the very last thing we ever want to do on this show is talk about bot-led teams.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because who's listening then?
Yeah. We care about you guys, not bots. Bats.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Okay, so did you want to start or should I start?
I'll start, baby. Let's do it. So the
Okay.
first team I want to highlight is the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors.
Hawaii.
The Wahine. So yeah. So their president is Gasuten. I don't know how to, I feel like that's German. I want to say like Gasuten, but I mean, who knows?
I may be going like French, like almost like
Gaston.
Gaston, but like
Yeah, that's what I want. I
Gaston,
wanted
yeah.
to say like Gaston, like Gaston, but whatever. We could
Yeah.
also take it like Bad Bunny style. Gaston. We're done.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a good one.
We're so
Spanish,
done.
yeah.
Okay, so this was actually the former president of Memphis way a long time ago. So glad to see that he's back into the
Right.
game. Took a break.
Hmm.
Yeah, so glad to see he's back into the game.
Wow,
But
taking a break from Hardwood couldn't be me.
I mean, we once self-imposed a 3-day break from Hardwood, and we almost lost our minds. We literally were like, what do we fill our days with doing?
That was different. That was something different.
That was completely different. But Hawaii, currently 27th in RPI. They have a 564 RPI, 471 SOS, so it's not terrible. But they're 146.7 TPI in D3, which we mentioned that being good for D2. We mentioned that being competitive for D1, which means that's a really good TPI for D3, right? They're really good.
Yeah. Did I just see that's the top? Oh, okay. Number 2 overall.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Only behind
Tied
Hendricks.
for number 2, I guess.
Only behind Jimmy.
Hendricks. Yeah.
Yeah. So if we look at their stats, take a little quick peek at what they got going on. They have 5 starters in double figures.
Oh, dude. It's
What?
this guy.
Yeah.
This guy's the top ranked junior in the entire game.
ELMER CAIN. Yeah, and he's not even a red shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was the number 1 player in the entire nation.
Crazy.
He's overall ranked number 1. He was the best player in that class. Yeah. That's when you're fortunate to be like in a state who has very few universities, and then the top overall player comes to your state or like generates in your state.
Yeah.
But still, he was going to get comp, so props to him for landing him.
Yeah, this guy's
cracked, nuts. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's cracked. Yeah.
He's
probably. I kind of want to see him reach 200.
Yeah, I mean, he's so close, and he's got so much. I guess he doesn't have that much more time, huh?
No. Well, he's a junior. He's not even a red shirt.
Yeah, he could get there though.
I would have red shirt.
All right.
Anyways.
What about this team? What else about this team? Obviously, CAIN is the guy.
CAIN's the guy, but like I said,
but they have other players.
Yeah, they have 5 that are in double figures. Like they can hit you from anywhere. And again, they're the second highest rated TPI in all of D3, so they're gonna overpower a lot of teams.
Wait, but look at this points drop. When you say like 5 in double figures, you mean like really 5 in double figures? Because the next guy's under 4.
Yeah, they're
like
they're not
like a guy at 7 or something,
Right, they're not doing like 37 minutes a game for CAIN or anything like that either. Which you could argue maybe he should be, because his stamina is really high and he's really damn good. But so, they have their backups playing. They're just not scoring. They're probably on minus. It's like, no, the shots only go to starters.
Yeah, I guess so. That's interesting.
Yeah, but I mean, they're really good. CAIN is a 1.29 points per possession player.
Wow. Yeah.
So I mean, that's
like
exceptional.
If I'm in D3, I just don't expect a guy like ELMER CAIN to have to like match up with him.
No, yeah, you see ELMER CAIN, you get depressed, right? If you're in D3,
Yeah. Yeah, you're like, how the hell do I stop this guy?
you're like, why? What is this crap? But
Honestly, I think the answer is you kind of don't. You just try to like shut everyone else down,
you
maybe.
probably
You
just
know?
put your best defender on him and then hope for the best. I mean, they lost to Colby
Yeah,
Sawyer,
yeah.
so
Hey, yeah, that's
yeah.
true.
Um,
Okay.
so they're really good.
So Hawaii, I forgot. Yeah, ELMER CAIN, dude. Choof.
Yeah.
All right.
Who do you want to
My
mention?
turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna mention Buena Vista here because they're off to a really good start, of course. It's number 6, 601 RPI, 517 strength of schedule, which is like definitely respectable. I mean, yeah, it's no Covenant up here, but they're a bot team. So 517 is respectable for D3, certainly. I especially wanted to mention Buena Vista because their president, Heimtime, I think Heimtime,
Time time.
is new relatively. They joined the Discord, I think. And so, I just want to give props, shout out to them and welcome them. And yeah, they're having a good start to the season. So we'll see how they go. In terms of like looking at how their team is oriented and stuff. They're a very perimeter focused team. Let me go to their stats.
Nothing like a good
They're very
beaver.
what?
They're the Buena Vista Beavers, so I said nothing like a good beaver.
Oh, okay. Jeez. Um, they're a very perimeter oriented team, as I said. Their top 3 scorers are all the 3 perimeter positions. Cook at the point guard, combo forward with McDuffie. I guess he's kind of a small forward, power forward. He gets minutes at a big spot, but then shooting guard, like a wing guy in Jacobs. You can see Jacobs is like the real threat here. Career or season high of 42. I don't know if that's his career high actually.
I think it's season high, right?
Well, that would be a season high. It looks like it would be his career high too, though.
Yeah, season and career high.
Yeah. So, I mean, he can go off. Obviously, he goes off a lot, 24.5 points a game. He shoots a lot of threes. He makes a lot of threes, though. And then the 2 other guys, they shoot a lot of threes. They definitely don't make a lot of threes, I would say.
Yeah.
But this team takes 33s a game.
Yep.
Out of 65 shots total. So that's a big percentage of their shots coming from beyond the arc. Yeah, so definitely very perimeter oriented team here. They're pretty good at defense, especially again these top 3 guys. And then they got I would assume some of their bigs here, Foster, Hackney, definitely are the bigs here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. I don't know. That was basically my notes. They take a lot of threes. One guy hits a lot. The others are threats, certainly, but maybe not as much.
Cook is struggling.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, his points per possession is like, 0.77.
And he's only averaging 4 assists a game, so it's not like he's, carrying the weight in that aspect either.
Yeah. He's not that good of a point guard, actually. He's a 13 in passing now, so that's interesting. Like, that's pretty
He's
good.
a 6 in ball handling.
Yeah, that's not good. He's not fast. He's a redshirt senior.
Beavers know how to handle the ball.
Oh, he's from California. He's from Salesian. No, that's cool. It's close. I know where that is.
Okay.
But for D3, you kind of got to make do with what works. Make do with what you have.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right. So Buena Vista. Good luck. Time.
Good luck.
All right. Who else? Who you got next?
Okay, so the next team I want to highlight is Skidmore College.
Oh my gosh, Rob.
Skidmore College sitting at 48th in RPI. That was a joke. That was, whatever.
I know, but oh my goodness.
So Skidmore College, the Thoroughbreds from Saratoga Springs, New York. What a mouthful. But the president is PWD Paris. Like we said, they're sitting at 48th in RPI. Pretty weak strength of schedule with 466. But they're 48th in RPI, pretty strong RPI, but their TPI is only 115. So I like to highlight some teams that are playing up And this is potentially a team that's playing up right here, right? With a 115 TPI.
Yeah,
A very,
good eye for that.
yeah, a very interesting fact about this team, if you click into their roster real quick, is the roster composition is very unique, I would say.
Okay.
So
Break it down.
yeah, so they only have 7 scholarship players, but 5 of them are sophomores, right? And not redshirt sophomores, just true sophomores. So this is a team where, like, if they have a run of success this year, which it's always possible, you never know, they could sustain that success, right? I can't talk today. They could sustain that success because everybody's so young, but they're obviously carried by one player, right? Sebastian Clement, who is like a pretty high SI for a foreign player. That's a good development. It looks like, yeah. See what his development was. Oh yeah, 123 to 141, 41 to 156. It's pretty good for internationals.
Wow.
We've had
the
poor
number 3
development.
international.
Yeah, I think we've seen poor development with his head coach development is a 2.
What?
Levi Sweeney.
Wow. So how has this kid developed like that then?
What in the actual hell? This pisses me off. Anyways, what? Whatever. So yeah, Clement's really good, right? He's averaging 17.3 points per game, only 2 assists per game. Whatever. He's shooting guard, right? He's not starting
he's a shooting guard.
Yeah. So so cross plays at point guard for them. He's like kind of whatever. But I mean, they have 4 guys that can average 12 points or above. So, there's some good depth there. It's interesting because if you look at their plus minuses for the players, you can tell that like this is a squad that's barely winning games. Oh, right, okay. Yeah. So hold on. So they're 9-2 on the season and their point differential is plus 16.
Yeah.
So they are, let me look at, oh man. Okay.
Their schedule.
So their 2 losses are massive losses. So 107-73 and 103-52. So they got murdered.
Oh, wow.
But Ferrum is a team that we identified that's really good, right?
Yeah, I think we were about to talk about them last week, but I think we didn't, or maybe we did. I don't even remember. But yeah, they have a high TPI in D2. Yeah.
And then the rest of their games, they have some close wins, but some decent wins and stuff.
Maybe D3. Yeah.
And a really interesting fact is that their game today only had 50 people in attendance. So I don't know what's going on at Worcester Polytech Institute, but they're in Massachusetts. I guess nobody wants to go to their games.
They're not churning those gates. Yeah, I mean, they're 1 in 10. The fan mood is real low here.
Yeah, I mean, an attendance of 50 is like family.
Dude, 84 prestige. What the heck?
See, that's the thing that sometimes it's like, huh?
Wow.
That's their third game of the year with 50 attendance. So shout out to Worcester Polytechnic.
Hey.
Get it together, I guess.
All right. Let's see. So who do we have next? Is it my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
All right. I'm going to mention Husson here. Husson. Sorry, I'm trying to line up my, there we go. They're off to a 10-1 start. They're 7th in RPI with a 476 strength of schedule, which again, not super great. 594 RPI. Obviously, the RPI is strong regardless. So I would guess they're just beating people pretty badly. Plus 14.5 point winning margin of victory. No way. Did they get Burnell Seal? Wasn't this the guy from like Colorado I had sent you? Yeah. Yep,
it is. That's the guy we identified.
Play him. He's so good. 270 pounds, 7 feet, 41 inch vertical. Oh my God. This is what my dreams are made of.
Oh gosh. No, yeah, he needs to play him though.
Good all around. Oh my God, dude. I mean, yeah, okay. Listen, he's not like high rating in a lot of things, but like he's big as hell.
He's pure intangibles.
And athletic. Yeah, pure, which that's what I love.
Did he go plus 18 in his
without playing a game? Wow.
Oh.
Play this man. Get this man some minutes. With a 6 developer? Oh my.
Play Purnell. Yeah, what is this game? Everything that I thought rang to be true is false.
listen, so this is why any one of you watching should just literally never listen to us. All right. Looking at this team, what did I even want to highlight? Oh, they're deep and balanced. Let's see. Yeah, they're pretty deep and balanced. Like 6 guys above 8 points a game. I know we talk about double figures, like kind of being that number that we really look for, but like 8 points a game, one guy at 9.8, like those are definitely respectable threats on offense. 18 and a half, obviously. Well, here the 8 points per game is he's only played one game, so maybe not him.
Redshirter.
Yeah, but like 18 and a half is 18 and a half points a game. Obviously that's the leader here. Cooney, so he's the shooting guard. He takes some threes, he makes some threes, typical shooting guard. I don't know, 4.7 assists. That's pretty good for a shooting guard.
Yeah.
I don't know. For my shooting guards, I tell them to shoot. You don't pass, you shoot. Okay, that's your job. It's in the name, it's in the description. No, I'm just kidding. Lewandowski here, they have a nice inside out attack is what I noted, right? With Cooney on the outside, Lewandowski on the inside. K, is kind of mostly an inside guy here, and then Friedman on the outside kind of too, who's a pretty good shooter. That percentage is good, 43% three.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have a nice inside out attack is what I wanted to know, which is hard to stop. It's hard to plan for because it's like you try to pack in your defense to stop Lewandowski and K, and then you get torched by Cooney and Friedman. Or, you extend it out to stop those perimeter threats, and then Lewandowski and K can kind of hurt you. So, this guy is good, 6'10" and a half. I mean, he's not that good, but
It's definitely Lewandowski, but
oh, sorry.
it's okay.
I'm not Polish.
I only know because there's a German player that's Robert Lewandowski. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, German soccer player. Yeah.
I see. Also, yeah, I actually wanted to know they score 94 points a game as a team, which is a lot, wow.
Well, I mean, how do you
defend
them when the monster that is Pernille Seal and his points per possession stat? I mean, how are you defending that?
2.13.
A massive 2.13 in 2 solid minutes. That man played 2.4 minutes and murdered the game.
I think I remember I had a red shirt with CNR last season, Dylan Shields. After playing one game and like I don't remember how many minutes he played, his points per possession was like 2.33.
Slaughtering the game.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, so Husson is I'm sure I'll get it right on one of these ways I pronounce it, since I can't do Geneseo still.
Geneseo. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I think we're saying the eh too much. Like that's the too much emphasis there.
Geneseo.
Right.
Geneseo? Okay. Geneseo.
Yeah, so not Geneseo. Yeah, that's wrong. It's Geneseo.
Yeah, Geneseo.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, Scala, you tell us if that's right. Okay, Sean.
I'm sure he'll comment.
All right. All right. Yeah. Let's move on to your last team, your final team here.
My final team is the College of Charleston, currently sitting at 23rd in RPI. The Cougars from Charleston, South Carolina. Yeah. So President BJH222, been around since 2020, so been around for quite a while. Good for him. So particularly what I wanted to highlight with this team, so obviously 23rd in RPI, so 567, 448 SOS isn't great, 129.9 TPI. But you see 129.9 TPI and you're like, well, that team's okay, whatever. But like, click to their roster. Let's take a peek at their roster, the College of Charleston. Because this is a team that I particularly identified as a team that's capable of going on a nice run here, right? So sort by TPI. So we're talking about a team that has their 3 best players that are redshirt sophomores, right? They have 2 redshirt juniors, another redshirt sophomore, and then a couple of redshirt freshmen, and then some freshmen down here. So like if this team promotes this year, they could potentially promote the following year because presumably everybody just gets that much better, right? and then still be in position the
Mhm.
following year after that to contend for promotion.
Yeah, yeah. And it's not like they're just young and have, not that great of talent. I mean, they have a 4-star 13 pot as a redshirt freshman. You figure he's going to be able to carry this team soon. Um, they have another 13 pot up here with Kovacevic.
And
Yeah,
four
I
12
mean, that's
pots.
good. In 4-12 pots. Yeah.
So
So, yeah, definitely pretty good.
yeah, and they're bringing in a guy, Ned Kellogg, who they already had committed, who's already at 116 as a senior. I don't
Mhm.
imagine he'll actually play power forward because he's 6'1.5. But like, this is a team that has recruited well, right? Has their roster set up to go on a run. Took their punches with redshirting everyone. But like, I like this team. I'm
Yeah.
excited for them.
Yeah, set up really well. Very interesting. Yeah, big fan of it.
Yeah,
Big fan of the way they've done things.
yeah, same. So
I just saw this. It's the recruiting service star rating.
what?
What recruiting service are we using here?
Yeah, I've never seen that before.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Huh.
We should
Interesting.
name it. We should name. Oh man, we should have named our podcast that.
Recruiting service star rating.
Oh man.
Oh well.
All right.
The last thing I want to
Um.
mention about College of Charleston real quick is
Oh yeah, yeah,
they have a player named Bart Wiener.
yeah. That's good.
And I'm 14, so I can't help myself.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I think I forgot to shout out Husson's president here. So main racer 25. Husson looks pretty good. They're pretty scary for
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
All right. And then there's 2 more teams we want to talk about. And this was kind of like a mutual team we had picked out, right? This next
Yep.
one.
Yep.
So Michigan State, I mean, Sparty, right? I mean, down in D3 though. Down in D3. Ouija is the president. He's been there since 2019. He's been there for a while, since the 2007 season. In Michigan State, they're a team that was formerly in Legends.
Yeah. I mean, there's
Wow.
been a lot of demotions in this team's history.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not like blaming Ouija. I kind of took over towards the end, and I'm sure it was tough to stop. That level of fall completely, and then they just kind of went with it, I guess, with continuing. But it looks like they're back on their way on the up and up, though, huh?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, again, a historic team, the Spartans, Sparty, sitting down here in D3, you obviously want them to play up and get
Mhm.
back to glory.
Yeah,
They only
yeah.
have
So
a
they
60
also,
prestige.
yeah, which isn't that high. I mean, but it's
No.
definitely higher than we've got. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so they mostly pound it inside with Schultz, and then they kind of have a secondary interior scorer with Stanton, but Holland is their outside threat here. So another inside out attack, which is what I kind of like to do, how I would kind of like my teams to play as well. So it's what I would look for when I'm scouting out a team, that I like. So Michigan State's kind of got that going. Maybe they finally live up to that name of Michigan State, the Michigan
Yep.
State Spartans.
Get
We'll
promoted,
see.
Sparty. Come on.
Yeah. All right. And then one last team, just because we haven't hit a lot of these teams again in the top 10 are like bots. Real quick, Young Harris, the president there has been there for a long time, since 2019. This is one of our former league mates though, in LL5 and V3. So they're playing really well with the 13th RPI and a pretty good strength of schedule, right? 567 is pretty good compared to some of these other teams we've looked at.
Yeah.
But they're down in D3 because we knocked them down. No.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Or yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll see them back up though. Well, hopefully they'll be back in D2. We'll be in D1 though.
Yeah, exactly right.
But yeah, I think that about covers it for today, at least on my end. How about you?
Yeah, I think that covers it. So that's us signing off for today.
Yeah, and make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the video, get your friends involved in Hardwood, y'all. I know
Yes,
it's a hard game
exactly.
to like really dive in unless you're crazy like us though.
But once you do, you get addicted. So
Yeah, too much.
too much, yeah.
All right. Well, I guess I'll talk to you later on this week.
That is the Total Podcast Idiots signing off. We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.
Deuces.